Welcome back to this episode of What Can We Fix This Week?
Good morning, everyone. We've got Peugeot 207 in the workshop today. It's coming with an ABS fault. So initially I've scanned it. It's come up with the near side front sensor. So what we're going to do is going to clear the code, take it on a road test and see what happens when we get back in the workshop. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. Right, so it's back in the workshop now after a road test. When we turn the steering wheel all the way to the right, we get the ABS fault come up on the dash again. We straighten it up, we scan it, it wouldn't be there. So I turn it all the way to the right, scanned it with it held down, and it's come up with near side again. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the near side front, strip the wheel off, see what we can find, and I'll see you in a minute. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've taken the wheel off and I'll show you what we found. So this is the wire for the ABS sensor, and this is our problem. You guys can see that there is a break in the sensor, so when it's turned all the way to the right, it's pulling it too much and it's not making a good enough connection. Any other, when it's straight or turning to the left, it's all good. So unfortunately that is going to be a new sensor. That we can't repair that where it's on the trunking, which is a bit of a pain because otherwise we would have just repaired it for her. But we're going to get this sensor out, get a new one ordered, get it in, get this car back on the road. Job's a carrot. And you can watch me struggle to get this sensor out. Like I was saying, what I'm going to do is you're going to watch me struggle to get this ABS sensor out, just to prove to everyone it's not as easy as it sounds. Diagnosing the problem might be a bit easy, but for everyone to think, oh, it's just a simple ABS fault, can't be too bad. Not all of them go hunky-dory. So hopefully this one's alright, but I know from previous experience, the 207 sensors are very much in there.
Moving?
Ah, yeah, it's kinda. The biggest thing about working with Bob, isn't it, you've got to know anything about it when you first start, is understanding the sounds that he makes. Because he won't just speak to you most of the time, he'll chuck you a couple of sounds. And you have to know what them sounds mean, because he won't tell you what they mean. Right. She is bit looser now, so we're going to go back in with the mole grips. Now that she's lubed up, give them a wiggle, wiggly wiggly woo. While you're wiggling it, give it a little bit of a pry. And another thing, because they're plastic and you've got a pair of mole grips on them quite tight, it does start to bend the sensor. So just be careful that you're not doing your mole grips too tight. Give it a little wiggle, and eventually she will come out.
So I spout on about choose your work, choose your customers, all that sort of stuff. You make more money turning work away than you do taking it on, 100%, because you get tied up in jobs what you shouldn't have been doing. I've done it again. But so this T5, bloke's had a new turbo, new airflow meter, new map sensor, new pipes, new intercooler. He's done the works on it. But apparently, all what happens, he drives along on a straight run. It doesn't need to be uphill, anything. It can be just driving along and it just flags the light up. Map sensor, open circuit, short to ground, or something like that. So let's get into it. Let's see if it's one I should have taken on or one I'm going to regret. Let's get some codes up, see what it does. Right, so as you can see, we have got turbocharger boost sensor. So there's your map sensor, high input, P0238. But it is sporadic, so it means it's intermittent. So what we're going to do, we're going to clear it down quickly, go on road tests, see how long it takes to come on, and see what happens there. Right, so I've been on road test, confirmed the fault Yeah, just driving along, normal, not under a lot of boost or anything like that, and it comes up with that. If you disconnect the sensor, it does exactly the same, so it's looking like the sensor is dropping out. Apparently it's have wiring faults, etc. But we need to do some testing, so I need to get to the ECU, which apparently is tucked under this battery. So let's get that all stripped out, get to a point where we can do some testing on it, and we'll see what we find.
For any of you wondering what life as an apprentice is like, it's not too bad. As much as people say in the comments about Bob being a good mentor, he's not. No, he's definitely a good mentor when it comes to teaching, but he isn't someone to tell you the same thing 5 or 6 times. I can see why a lot of garages don't take on apprentices anymore. The thing with ABS sensors as well is they're all different. All the same concept, but all of them are slightly different in a way, in the way they come out. I've had some where they've snapped off, I've got to drill a screw in and get the screw out with the end of the ABS sensor in it. I've had some that just slip out, some that I don't have to use any force, any pliers, no pry bar, literally just pull it out like that. And ones like this, where it can take a while, but there's no real way to rush one like this. You can't do it quickly. You've literally got to take your time, wiggle it back and forwards, up and down, until you've got enough movement on it, or it's up enough to just... I thought I had it in. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to you when I'm a lot closer, because this is now taking a lot of time and patience. So I'll be back in about, hopefully, 10 minutes. Right, after 5 more minutes of persistence, the sensor came out. And while I was doing it, the new one arrived. So the way these ones work is they run all the way up behind the wheel arch. So I pulled the wheel arch back, unplugged it, and one of the key things to remember is how they run. So how you run the wiring back up. There we go. So there's the old sensor. There's the brake and the wire in there. That was the fault. But we're not done yet. So one of the last steps before putting the new sensor in is, because the arm is always exposed to the elements, the reason the sensors become so tight is because they rust around where it's meant to go in and go to the bearing. So what we do is we just get a little file like that, go in there, file out all the old rust, making sure none of it falls into the bearing, pulling it out at the same time. And once that's all filed up, you can pop the new sensor in, put everything back together, give it a road test, and make sure it's all good.
Right, so thanks for watching. I've got to leave early tonight. It's Halloween, and the wife's got to go and test drive her new broomstick. So if you like what you see, do the old and then, and that'll be beautiful. And don't forget, we've got a case study out tomorrow night. Hopefully you like that, and we'll see you next week. Ta-da!